Hey everybody, this is Modern Refugee, having the last of my tea with you guys here this morning. I'm going to head out with some gear. I'm going to get some stuff staged for a winter camping trip that we got coming up here in a couple of days. Wanted to mention a couple of things that I noticed, some uncomfortable topics, if you want to put it that way. Some different things that kind of putting two and two together and following the money and the economics of it all, because no matter what the SHTF is, there's going to be some type of economic fallout of that. And no matter what policy or event takes place, again, there's going to be an economic outlook where we're going to have to adapt to get through those economic times. And some people make a lot of money in hard times, and most of us lose money or have the ability to, we lose the ability to make a lot of money in those times because of the events that are going on around us. And for me around here, it's agriculture. Everything operates around agriculture. And if you've seen what I have seen over the years, the fragility of the greater agricultural market, there's so many different things that can affect it. And of course, that affects the broader economy, local jobs around here, food distribution around the world, that kind of stuff. And, there's two things that are going on right now, kind of simultaneously. One is the bird thing that's going around that's causing egg shortages and the prices of eggs to go up, and will eventually cause the price of chicken to go up. I have seen less and less chicken on store shelves, raw chicken. Processed stuff still seems to be good. If you've never found a time to learn how to can chicken, this is probably a good time to learn how to do that, because as flocks are culled and stuff, there might be an influx in price. The price might be low at the beginning, but then will gradually creep up. And I actually did see that. We took a little drive last night, and I did see some pretty decent prices on larger quantities, like 10-pound bags of boneless, skinless chicken breasts, that kind of stuff. And we still have a lot of egg production in our area, so we are still benefiting from that here, because it's a very short, they make eggs just down the road here. So, they don't make the eggs. The hens lay the eggs and they take care of them, and they package them up and stuff just down the road here. So we have a pretty robust market for that right here. So we're kind of good. We're not having the same problems that people are having like out west. I heard a lot of problems like in kind of the Intermountain West, where they're having problems with egg shortages and that kind of stuff. And then that gets to the other thing, and that is the migrant workers. And I live about as far as you can live from the southern border, and there is migrant workers all over by me. And I'm still waiting to see how that is going to affect this local area that I live in here, because I'm sure that some of them workers that are up here aren't necessarily legit. And I'm curious how that is going to affect right here where I'm at, because remember, your local area is your most important thing. When SHTF happens, it might happen on the other side of the world, but in your local area, things are still good. You might still be all right for a while, so have chances to prepare, come up with other plans. So I'm always hyper aware of what's going on in my area, and I am curious, skeptical, and maybe even a little bit concerned about how these people are going to react to this new, thing that's going on here. So I am sort of hyper vigilant in watching that. And I remember the first time, there's been a history of migrant work in my area, and I actually did video on the migrant camps back in the day from different firsthand accounts that I had. I'll put a link in the description for that video as well if you guys have never seen that. But as time has went on, there has been more and more of this that has taken place, and the people are just different now than they were back then in those different recollections where I was discussing those migrant camps. Things are a lot different now than they were 50 years ago. And there's a lot of work that is done, and I don't know how some of these larger operations are going to function if something happens to that employment base. There has been multiple different raids around here in the last 10 years where it literally shut down entire operations, whether it was pork or dairy or whatever, shut those operations right down. So again, that's going to have a economic impact on our community here. And then the other thing that kind of sticks out in my mind, the past, we would always see large amounts, the migrants would come in the spring, they would work the summer, and then toward the fall, they would buy a bunch of supplies and head out of here. And there were lots of times where I seen people with not just out-of-state IDs, but out-of-country IDs purchasing stuff that I know they couldn't take back across the border, let's put it that way. And where that stuff ended up, who knows. But that is another thing. Now, you don't see so much of that influx because they've just moved into the area. And there are still places that are rented out to these workers and stuff, but that stuff is becoming more and more permanent. So there has been a shift in that. So there's a lot of things to keep an eye on. And another thing, and I don't know if people noticed this back during the pandemic or not, that all started taking place right around Lunar New Year. And when I'm filming this here, tomorrow is Lunar New Year. And one of the big things with Lunar New Year is in Asian countries is you travel. Well, what better way for a pathogen to spread than to have something come out on Lunar New Year where everybody travels? And now here again, we have another pathogen that's in the news right around the time of Lunar New Year. I think that is highly suspicious. And then there is another thing. You have all these cable breaks, all these ships that are inadvertently dropping their anchors on fiber optic cables, power cables, whatever, over in Europe. To me, that's a prelude for war. And, these things, these sabotage events keep ramping up. And I keep watching stuff here in North America that could be, construed as sabotage, because there's a lot of people that believe there is some type of sabotage going on around me. I'm not the only one that thinks that way. People that have a lot of common sense, they look at events and it's just like, well, looks like sabotage to me. And that's kind of how they're looking at things. There's a lot of things going on that we need to keep an eye on as preppers, and kind of need to have all our ducks in a row, because the future is really unset right now. And there's a lot of moving parts. There's a lot of things that are going on. The old timers didn't have, I often wonder how the old timers would have looked at the availability of news and information that we get today, because, their stuff was radio, word of mouth, newspaper, but they still always had, plans and contingencies for things that could possibly happen. And I've often wondered how they would react to that type of situation, so to speak. And so keep an eye on things, and I will continue to bring you guys information that I think is pertinent, stuff from the old timers, stuff on gear, stuff on different skills that I think can bring people through hard economic times, and just the uncertainty that the future brings. But anyway, this is Modern Refugee. Appreciate all my subscribers out there. Hope you guys always get something out of my videos, something to either think about, a skill that might benefit you, an idea, a trick, or a hack that you never thought of before, or just basic wisdom from the old timers. Hope that always helps you guys out there. So anyway, appreciate you guys. You guys take care and stay safe out there.